Hello students, in my last video I have already shared regarding the bones of the pelvis. Today I will be speaking on the joints, the ligaments as well as the diameter of the pelvis. So first we will see about the joints of the pelvis. So when we see about the joints, there are three important joints in pelvis. One is sacroiliac joint. You can see here the joints where the joints have formed, the sacroiliac joint. You have a two sacroiliac joint on either side. And the next one is the sacrocochlegeal joint where the sacrum joins with the coccyx. You can see here the joints. So this is called as a sacrocochlegeal joint, and the other joint is a symphysis pubic joint. So here you can see the joint where the two pubic bone have joined together, that is called as a symphysis pubic joint. So you have three joints: sacroiliac joint, sacrocochlegeal joint and symphysis pubic joint. Next we'll speak regarding the ligaments. So as I said, the similar names goes for ligaments also. So when we are speaking about ligaments, the ligaments you cannot see over here. It's not a bony prominences or bony structure. It is, ligaments are made up of a fibrous tissue which keeps the joints together. So you can see here the similar ligaments, that is sacroiliac ligament, which you can see over here. It forms over here, and sacrocochlegeal ligament, you can see it over here, sacrocochlegeal ligament. There is interpubic ligament between the two pubic bone. There are also other two ligaments which you are going to study. One is called as a sacrotuberous ligament and sacrospinous ligament. To speak about the sacrotuberous ligament, the ligament which runs from the sacrum to the ischial tuberosity. So this is a tuberosity which we have learnt already. So sacrotuberous ligament from the sacrum to the tuberosity, and one more is a sacrospinous ligament, that is from the sacrum to the ischial spine. So these are the two ligaments which runs from the sacrum to the spine and sacrum to the ischial tuberosity. So totally we have 5 ligaments, that is, one is sacroiliac ligament, sacrocochlegeal ligament, interpubic ligament, sacrotuberous ligament and sacrospinous ligaments. Next we'll move on to the diameters of the pelvic. So before moving on to the diameters of the pelvic, first we have to see the landmarks. So when we are speaking about, or when we are studying about the diameters of the pelvis, we are studying like the diameters which we measure on the brim, the cavity and the outlet. So we have to study the diameters of the brim, the cavity and an outlet. So before that we'll see what are the landmarks. So there are 8 landmarks on either side of the brim. So it's same, like 1 to 8 on one side and 1 to 8 on the other side. So the first landmark which we are seeing is called as the sacral promontory. So this is the one, the sacral promontory. The second one, the sacral ala or wing, sacroiliac joint. This is an iliopectineal line. Then you have a iliopectineal eminence, superior ramus of the pubic bone, upper inner border of the body of the pubic bone, and the upper inner border of the symphysis pubis. So these are the 8 landmarks on one side, and the similar landmarks you can see on the other side. Next we'll move on to the diameters. So first we'll see the diameters of the brim. The brim is the top portion, or it's a brim like on the top which we have the round thing which you can see. This we call it as a brim. So first we'll see about the anterior-posterior diameter, that is from the front anterior to the posterior. So studying of the diameters is very important to see whether a lady can undergo a normal progress or the normal process of labor. So first we'll see the anterior-posterior diameter. So anterior-posterior diameter is measured in 3 dimensions. Okay, it is measured in 3 dimensions. That is, one is anatomical conjugate, the second one is obstetrical conjugate and diagonal conjugate. So anatomical conjugate, it measures from the sacral promontory to the upper border of the symphysis pubis, which we call as anatomical conjugate, and it measures 11 centimeters. The second one is obstetrical conjugate. The obstetrical conjugate measures from sacral promontory. The starting point is same for the anterior posterior diameter. It measures from sacral promontory to 1.25 centimeter, the posterior border just below 1.25 centimeters. So here, from here to sacral promontory, it is called as an obstetrical conjugate and it measures 11 centimeters. And the last one is a diagonal conjugate, which we measure from the sacral promontory to the lower border of the symphysis pubis, that is here down to the lower border of the symphysis pubis, and it is also called as a diagonal conjugate and it measures 12 to 13 centimeters. So you can just remember, on the top you have 12 centimeters, on the down 12 to 13, and in the middle, that is very important, obstetrical conjugate, which is very important in midwifery, that is 11 centimeters. These are the normal diameters. So in anterior posterior diameter, you are measuring in 3 dimensions, that is anatomical conjugate, obstetrical conjugate and diagonal conjugate. Next we'll move on to the oblique diameter. The oblique diameter, you are measuring, oblique means to the side, it's an oblique. So you can see this is a oblique. If you have a brim which is circular, so you can see this is an oblique diameter. So when you speak about oblique diameter, it starts from the sacroiliac joint, you can see here sacroiliac joint, to the other end, that is iliopectineal eminence. So oblique diameter is measured from sacroiliac joint to the iliopectineal eminence. The oblique diameter measures 12 centimeters. The next one is the transverse diameter. So if you keep a transverse in the middle, if you are going to measure, this is a transverse diameter which is measured between the 2 iliopectineal line, and it measures 13 centimeter. So these are the diameters which you are studying in a brim. So you have anterior posterior diameter, which is of 3 dimensions, and you have oblique diameter and transverse diameter. So that is the diameter of the brim. Next, the cavity. So you can see here the cavity. So the cavity is circular in shape, and it's like it is impossible or difficult to measure. That's why it is considered all anterior posterior, oblique as well as transverse diameter, all are 12 centimeter. You're considering it normal as 12 centimeter. Next we'll move on to the outlet. To speak about the outlet, here also you have an anterior posterior diameter, oblique diameter and transverse diameter. In outlet, the anterior posterior diameter is measured from the sacrocochlegeal joint. You can see here the sacrocochlegeal joint to the lower border of the symphysis pubis, and it measures 13 centimeter, that is anterior posterior diameter. The oblique diameter, it measures from the, you can see here the foramina, that is obturator foramina. You can here nothing is there, you can see it's an empty, but there is in a normal women, when you are doing an ultrasound, you can see there is a sacrospinous ligament. So you can measure it from the obturator foramina to the sacrospinous ligament, which is 12 centimeter, that is oblique diameter. The transverse diameter in the outlet, you can see here in the middle, if you are measuring the ischial spine, which is very important in obstetrics, where you are assessing the head of the fetal station. So here in between these two ischial spine, we are measuring the transverse diameter, and it is 11 centimeters. So that's about the anterior posterior diameter, oblique diameter and the transverse diameter. So these are the various diameters of the brim, the cavity and an outlet. I hope you understood this. Thank you.